Okay, hello, my name is Sarah and I live in Idaho. I am a full-time content creator and I love traveling. So yeah, I've been to about 20 countries now and never gonna stop exploring. I'm also a photographer and create videography and social media for clients. Trip was to Peru. We flew into Cusco specifically, and that was on July 31st. So we ended up staying through the first week of August, and 6 people ended up coming with me. So we had a full group of 7 people total. Everyone, of course, was a little nervous, like, are we all gonna get along? Are we all gonna mesh? Because not a single one of us lived in the same state in the United States. We were all from very different corners of there. I ended up launching my trip January 2025, and stories are kind of where my main community comes to check in on me. Not necessarily reaching the most people, but the people who are most invested in me. And the way I launched was by posting to my story, basically just speaking to my community and followers and letting them know that I was planning this really fun opportunity and that spots would be extremely limited. So if they were interested, to message me now, so we could chat about how it would all pan out, essentially. One story kind of sparked a ton of people messaging me and saying, well, like, what are the dates? Where are we gonna go? Do I need a passport, etc.? And that's where the conversations really began from there. So after that, I posted a reel actually showcasing a trip I had just done to Guatemala, and I told a bunch of people that maybe they wanted to do a trip similar to this. In the caption, I just kind of honed in on, you can come and do this trip with me next if you would like. So that also generated some interest, and everyone who was interested, I wrote their names down in my notes in my phone, and I would just check back in with them every couple weeks, essentially, if they hadn't checked back in with me. So my first couple people, I just made sure to message them probably every couple days saying, do you have any more questions? I know we chatted about doing this, and spots could fill up quickly, so what are we looking for with booking time? I think a really great kind of way to slide into the DMs is start with a story that has either a poll to vote on. Yeah, actually 100% do the poll to vote on, because the little questionnaire DM, people I think are a little scared sometimes to write a message in that. So do a poll that asks, would you want to travel here? And then, you know, the first question, yes, message me. Second, maybe, message me in a couple days, or no. Every single person that voted yes, message me. I said, hey, I noticed you voted on my poll. Yes, I would absolutely love to have you. You would be so fun to travel with, and it'd be a great energy to add to the trip, etc., etc. So I recommend doing those polls, and that's kind of your in, because then it's not an aggressive, oh, I saw you watching my stories or something. It's more of a, I saw you make this direct decision to hit yes. I'm going to follow up with that. I would recommend asking some of your friends if they want to travel too. So this is kind of how I started feeling confident that the trip would definitely sell out. I had 2 close girlfriends who have always wanted to travel with me, but they have never traveled. This was the perfect opportunity, and I chatted with them first, and they actually were able to book their trip right away. So when they booked their trip, I actually shared little experiences to my stories that I've had with those 2 girls, basically saying, this is what Kelly and I did last week. We're gonna go to Peru together. Who wants to come with me and Kelly to Peru? So I actually did 3 or 4 stories like that with her and my friend named Karen. So I tried not to really look at it as I'm selling a trip, more so of I'm hosting a trip. And I personally did not upcharge on my trip a ton because I wanted to keep it affordable for everyone, and because I do have a somewhat smaller platform. Because of this, I kept the price low, and I was really upfront with everyone, basically explaining that if you take this trip, you won't have to plan anything, you won't have to organize anything, you won't even have to call a taxi, because this is basically the easiest way to travel. So rather than me like selling it per se, it was mostly me just being really excited about the trip and letting everyone know that they should really join me for it, because it's going to be the trip of a lifetime, honestly, a once in a lifetime experience. My last spot was a little tough, and I posted probably maybe 6 stories within just a couple weeks, saying, here's another spot we're going to Peru, and here's another spot we're going to Peru. And finally, after all the one-on-one communication I had had with them via DM, they did finally book it with just a couple weeks to spare. So yeah, it can be a little taxing and a little redundant just having to message and ask if they have any more questions about the trip. But I just continued to kind of show them what they would experience, and more importantly, what they would miss out on. But what kept me going was mostly just continuously having those conversations with them. And I was so excited about the trip. I think that kind of bled into what our conversations were, and it kept them a little more excited. But I would say, like, one of my friends would not have booked if I wouldn't have just kept texting her, we are going to Peru, let's do this, let's just, make it happen kind of thing. So I think almost having a delusional optimism and just telling people it's happening, so you better book it. I think the turning point was past my 2 friends wanting to book, because I kind of knew they were a shoo-in, and then when 2 strangers booked who I'd never met before, and I hadn't even had a ton of conversations with the 2 girls until I gave the one girl my number. So once I had those 2 in, I felt like it was really possible, and actual strangers wanted to come travel, and that felt like truly the community building aspect that I'd been craving for. So yeah, I would say once my 4th booked, it felt like it was definitely gonna happen. If you have just launched your trip, I definitely recommend sharing the itinerary out, like specific activities that you're really excited about, and show your passion about them. I shared that we were doing a ceramic painting workshop that I was really excited about, which is kind of not my typical. Usually I'm always like hiking, doing that stuff. And I think that enticed some people who weren't quite as outdoorsy per se to be really excited, because they're like, oh my gosh, this is a different activity I maybe didn't expect to do in Peru. I would really show all those experiences, like, do you want to come paddleboarding with me? And then on a different day, we're going to do this hike or see this view. And then another big advice for me that worked great in my favor is to ask all of your close friends, because a lot of my friends have always been afraid to travel, and they've always said they want to travel with me, but hadn't ever really pulled the trigger. By showing that, these 2 people already booked, like, don't be scared, come with us, we'll be in a group, it'll be awesome. And I do really encourage texting the friends, because a lot of my friends were too scared to book trips with me solo, but knowing that we would have a group, a tour guide, transportation taking care of all of that, they were way more interested. Ultimate favorite moment of the trip was one of our first days, and we lucked out because August is the month that they worship their Mother Earth, and that is kind of who they see as their gods in Peru. So we got to go on August 1st to a local ritual where they were playing music out of like a flute and on the drums, and they started a fire, and they gave us all tea leaves, and we got to present our tea leaves into the fire. And this was essentially giving thanks to Pachamama, which is Mother Earth, and the local man who was like an elder in the community actually went around and blessed each of us. And at the end of the ceremony, he told us that we would have the most beautiful trip and have an amazing time connecting with Peru, Pachamama, and all the locals. And he predicted it great, because we did. We had the best time ever, and all of us were crying at this ceremony. It was the most beautiful thing. Still keep in touch. We still send each other the content or send a message about a Peru reel we saw or something. And yeah, I think I've texted every single girl post-trip, and we just reminisce on this beautiful moment that we experienced together. And yeah, I think we'll stay in touch forever, and I genuinely think all these girls are going to travel with me again next year.